Well, my, look what the Frost Beast done dragged up in here. Yes, this is an ABX video, and that's how I like to start my ABX videos. And yes, this is an ABX video, but we did get the second sneak peek. And here's the thing, I don't think it's really in anybody's best interest for me to make a complete entire video on the sneak peek. I just don't think there's really much to be said. I think anything to be said about it can be gathered just from the obvious. Just from reading it and then looking at the photo. Honestly, I'm not even going to read that. I'm just going to show you the photo here. So basically, it's a Defenders update, and it looks like Luke Cage and Iron Fist are getting are getting uniforms in the lease. We don't know if it's going to be a tier 3 or an awakened skill, maybe awakened skill for both of them, maybe a tier 3 for both of them, maybe a tier 3 for one and awakened skill for the other. I would imagine that Daredevil is going to get something in this update as well. And that's really all I'm going to say about it. Anything other than that would just be speculation, and I'm not sure if you guys really enjoy all the speculation, but there's that. That's all I'm going to say about that so far. If the next sneak peek, if there's really more to gather from it, I will I'll cover that. I'll make a whole dedicated video on it. But we'll know in short order what's coming, right? And thing is this: be sure that as soon as it drops, I will be I'll be leveling up the characters, and I'll be taking them in some gameplay to show you exactly what they can do. As I did mention, Luke Cage, you can't enhance his potential past level 60, but you can with Iron Fist. So I would suggest maybe getting his potential, just getting him ready. Maybe not even go up to far as even getting to level 70 or anything like that, but you could just at least get his potential. All right, and there is that. A couple other things just to make note of, just give you an idea of what's coming here if you don't already know. 50% off common card unequipping event. ISO 8 set 50% off to roll that if you got to change that for anybody or rolling somebody new. That's on the 12th. And Alliance Store double donation. So it's basically per the usual stuff that comes before each update, right? It's per the usual. I do like the double donation. You get the boost points, hidden tickets, uniform XP chips. There's this crystal bonus mission. So it's just a crystal spending event. That's basically what that is. All right, let's jump into what we got going on here. Okay, so yeah, I haven't even collected any of that. All right. So I'm going to show you. The build. So we want to know who's top dog today, or exactly where Rogue can stack up to Luna. Now I have them both built pretty decent. Now Luna's built a little bit better than Rogue just because she's been in the game longer and she's been used. She's been ABX meta for the longest time. So she's got 17 Odin's Blessings. She has a fully awakened ISO 8 set. She has a Rage uniform at Mythic. She's rocking 57, 572 energy attack. And Rogue here, my darling, she has a 56, 688. And so she's missing, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she has 14 Odin's Blessings. And she has stage 11. So, I mean, it's really not too far behind. She does have a Judgment. Judgment seems to be what works best on her. Everything's maxed. I mean, crit rate is just a slightly off. Uniform is at Mythic as well. So, Rogue's build isn't as great. And also on my cards, I believe I have 14% more. Why am I going there? I have 14% more energy attack than physical attack. But you'll see in these runs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play Luna's run first. Now the thing is this, with Luna, her rotation, it's basically, it's a spam fest, right? We all know this just because of the reset on 1 and 2. It's a spam fest, and there's a certain like flow to playing her. I feel like you just kind of have to get a feel for it. So I'm not going to try to pinpoint a rotation for her. I will for Rogue. I do know the rotation for Rogue. That's very simple, and you basically want to keep it the same all throughout the run. For Luna, it's a little bit different of a story. You just kind of have to get used to playing her. I'll tell you that there's certain skills that you kind of just want to use within the proc. There's a certain way that you basically want to play her. I feel like most players are pretty much aware of this. So I'm going to play the run. Hopefully you can at least pick something up from the way I play her to improve your gameplay. If you still need a little assistance with her. So let me pull this up here. Now you already know it's a sneaky bandit. He's gotta pop in here at least once, right? So I'm gonna read this comment from you, and then I have a tiny discussion on it. So Nikon Truth says, veteran here, but man, this video is gold, especially for new players and players in general wanting to get the most out of their out of the tunes on their roster. He's talking about the character building video that I just put out a couple days ago. Nice work, brother. I wasn't gonna comment on the post, but you shared. But in my opinion, the content you bring has to be long because the subject you present in each video is broke down to every little percentage which players want to know. And to be fair, the new gauge in this game is null. Everyone wants to know who can defeat null until there is another boss or mode. World Boss Ultimate or null is the barometer in which we build our characters around. Yeah, that's very true. You know, I presented this in at least he's talking about a comment that I presented in the other one, talking about, you know, a lot of my videos are just null videos, and you know, the thing on that is it's like he's completely right. You know, it's like the barometer, the gauge in which we, you know, build our characters is basically for null now, because it's the most challenging content in the game. Nobody really has, you know, the vast majority of players don't have much trouble with World Boss Ultimate. They don't need a whole lot of guidance or tips, or they don't need to know how well certain characters perform, because they can get their 5 clears easy peasy, right? Null is a completely different story. There's a lot of players that, you know, there's a lot of players that are just starting now to clear them, and then there's some players that are now advancing, right? They're getting like past stage 10, so they need, you know, further guidance past stage 10. So there were things that, like, I had to figure out all my own past stage 10, like that stage 23 video. That stage was the most difficult for me, and now, you know, the conquer level's up, and keep in mind your conquer level is very important. Null will naturally, without doing anything else, as long as your conquer level increases, he'll get easier and easier for you. Trust me on that. But the question that I have for you guys, so he's talking about, you know, the length of the video, and honestly, when I was done making that video, I was surprised at how long it was. I thought for sure I was gonna have it, you know, on the shorter side, like under 30 minutes. It ended up being like 41 minutes, and I can't figure it out yet. Are the shorter videos doing better than the longer videos, and should I try to make them shorter or longer? It seems pretty random at this point. I thought I had it figured out before, but I want to ask you guys if you enjoy the longer videos, or if you suggest that I keep them maybe, like, you know, at the longest, like between 20 and maybe 30 minutes at the very longest, but maybe try to aim for like, you know, 15-20 minutes. I think that might be a sweet spot, but I want to get your feedback. Let me know what you think on that. All right, Sneaky Bandit out. Enjoy your ABX video now. All right, and here we go. I'm not going to tell you what I scored quite yet. I'm going to let you see for yourself. I'm going to let you see who's actually better. So yeah, I always start with, you know, 4-5. You know, 2-1-3. I always, you know, you hope for 1 and 2 to reset. I'm not having that luck in this run. I'll tell you though, I did beat my score after this. And, you know, you always want to use the tier 3. I always try to use it when there's, like, you know, the proc's going from like 1 to 0. That's basically when I use it. And with Luna, you're melting the Frost Beast shield with Luna's snow, with Luna's ice. You're melting it with ice. You're not silencing. You're just plowing right through. You're not worrying about it. That seems just to be the best case scenario while playing Luna, just because, you know, you'd have to sacrifice. You don't want to sacrifice White Fox, of course, and then you don't want to sacrifice her lead. So I do use this tier 3 before the roar. You know, I try to get that up as quickly as possible, and I use that. I don't think I really lose that much damage there. And then this way, I'm not holding that tier 3. Because, I don't know, I feel like that would be pretty costly. But, you know, we're at like 5 million by the first minute, right? So I think that would have been that's like a perfect time to use the tier 3 there, when I did, you know, from 1 to, like, you know, the proc's going to 0 there. And yeah, you pray and you hope that the refresh happens on 1 and 2. That seems could be, you know, the difference maker on, you know, a decent run in a really good run. Also, just like procs and how things work out, because I'll tell you, the first run I scored like almost 400,000 points less than my high, which is, I think, a lot. And I'll tell you what I scored, what my high is after this. And I only ran, I actually haven't ran this that much. I only ran this a few times, but I feel like I probably wouldn't be able to get that much of an increase from where I'm at. So yeah, I wait, and then yeah, about right there, that's when I hit the tier 3. And there's no real way to control it, but having less mobs on the field when you hit your tier 3 is better, just because you don't have like all the damage, right? You got the icicles, they don't target. You want them to target the beast. That's where, you know, all the damage is. You want them to target the beast. You don't want them to target the mobs on the field. So yeah, I forgot to shut my notifications off there. And then boom, I even hit it before this roar. I think I might lose a little bit of damage, right? It's it doesn't finish playing through. Oh no, it finished basically. But yeah, you know, you got to worry about, you know, getting knocked around by the beast, getting stunned for a second. It's kind of annoying. You know, with Luna, there's only, you know, you only got protection on a couple skills. But yeah, the increase after the third roar is painful. It is painful. Like, you'll see how much of an increase I actually get. I mean, look at it. It's barely going up, right? Look at it. It's crawling. The score is crawling. I ended up getting another tier 3 off. Now it's going up a little faster now. You see the dramatic increase after hitting the tier 3 there. So this run, 950. So I ran this 3 times, and each time the score increased. So the first run was 937. The second run right here, 952, and then my last run I got over 9.6. So I got over 9.6, basically just playing the same exact way. It's just, you know, you got different luck with procs. You got different luck with, you know, your skill, you know, the 1 and 2 refreshing. That makes a big difference. So I'm not going to tell you what I score with Rogue yet. I'm going to have you guessing. What do you think I scored with Rogue? Do you think she comes close? Do you think maybe she beats Luna? Maybe she rips that crown right off her head and places it atop hers? I don't know. Let's find out. Let me pull up this run here. And here we are. Here is my Luna run, and I'll talk about the rotation as the run goes on. I mean, I think a lot of people are privy onto the rotation here, and yeah. By the way, so yeah, I use Kitty Pryde lead, and sure, I think that's the best team up if you're running Rogue. And I do have insight on Kitty Pryde. I've had insight on her for a while now, ever since Squad Battle came out. You know, when it came out, I was hard after it, and then now, you know, it just kind of fizzles away because you don't need those gems anymore. So 3, cancel 3 right away. 4 when she basically slams down, when she lays the orb, and then 5. And I kind of let 5 play out for a little bit. But essentially, you should be able to keep the proc up like all the time with her, just because of the buff. It's the same buff as Captain Marvel. And yeah, I just kind of, you know, the main rotation is the 3, the 4 when she leaves that orb, the 5, cancel 5 right away when the tier 3 is up, and then hit that tier 3 as often as possible. And then I sprinkle in 2 and 1. You do need to hit 2 you need to include 2 on the rotation to have that tier 3 up. And yeah, see, the proc comes back like almost right away. The tier 3 does a really good job at that. And 1, you cancel with 1. You cancel with 1. And sometimes it misses though. Sometimes it misses. Actually, I ran more with Rogue than Luna. And it's frustrating when, like, you're having a really good run, right? Your personal best, and then the silence just doesn't even work. It's really strange. I'm not sure, you know, if it's meant to do that, if it's meant to just be funny like that. But yeah, see, the proc comes back like right away. The tier 3 is a really good job at doing that. And yeah, I'll tell you, the difference with Rogue, just like with Captain Marvel, is going to be how often you can keep that proc up. Boom. Where's our proc? Yeah, see here. So, you know, there's a little bit of time where you know was absent. But yeah, just make sure, you know, you're not using the one too close to the roar. You know, you want to use it at the right time, obviously, but it has a very short cooldown. You should have no problem canceling the roar unless it just completely misses, just like it did for me a few times. But I mean, she's not bad. She's not bad, but is she anywhere close to Luna? Let's see if canceling the roars actually makes up for her score, because you saw how slow of a crawl it was for Luna at the very end. But, you know, at 45 seconds, you know, we're over 7 million. Over 7. Not too shabby. I mean, 7.5 by, so looks like, yeah, I lost a little bit of damage on that tier 3, but I wasn't about to save it. And I end up having to, you know, cancel some skills a little bit faster just to fit that silence in there. And that's kind of what you're going to have to do with her, just because the 1 doesn't necessarily fit into the rotation. Like, you could make it fit, but at that point it wasn't necessarily fitting in. Where can we hit 8.5? Can we at least hit 8.5? 8.5, ladies and gents, 8.5. So she is a good 1,000,000 points less than Luna. But, you know, so not all things are completely even across the board, right? I've 14% more physical energy attack on cards. And let's see, Luna has 3 more Odin's Blessings, but all the Odin's Blessings I have on Rogue, they're all attack, and I do have 4 strikes on her. And her ISO 8 set is stage 11, Luna is 12. Now, is that going to be the difference of 1,000,000 plus points in ABX? No, it's not. There's no way. If I had everything completely even across the board, I mean, I could probably maybe expect, you know, another like 100,000 points on top of this 8.5 here. You know, I don't know, maybe, you know, with the additional 14% physical attack, yeah, okay, maybe like 150,000. But, you know, you gotta keep in mind the increase after 7 million. It's tough. It's tough. What it actually equates to, I'm not exactly sure yet. I'm sure this information will come out. Like, you know, 100,000 points is equivalent to 400,000 points, you know, before 7 million, you know, something like that. But yeah, so Luna, she's still the queen. She still is on top. I think a lot of people were hoping that she was going to get the boot. I mean, you know, maybe at this point we could just hope maybe she gets a new uniform. I think that would be pretty cool. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything of her like getting into, you know, a new comic or anything like that. I honestly don't know how many looks Luna has in the comics. I've never seen her in a comic. But maybe I'll look into that and see if, you know, I don't know, maybe that's on the horizon, hopefully. Or hopefully, you know, maybe this next update. Are there any speed females? It doesn't look like it. Nope. I mean, we got, you know, Jessica, we got some combat. Yeah, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So Luna, she's still on top, so you don't have to switch anything with your build to get, you know, with your characters, your builds, to get, you know, the highest score possible today. Just continue doing what you're doing with Luna. Now, the question to be said about when Paralyzed season rolls around, is that going to change? Because Burn, we already found out with Burn that Luna's still on top with Burn. Paralyzed, maybe there could be a swapping involved, you know, with that. But, you know, we'll have to see when that time comes. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in here today. If you enjoyed the video and you're liking the content that's being thrown up, you know, subscribe and hit the like button. It wouldn't hurt. It would actually help the channel out a lot. So until next time, you stay tuned, you stay breezy, but most of all, friend, you stay safe out there. Peace.